Hello everyone, Ozzymitsu here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you another episode of my Evolution Solution series. On last week's video we compared Golem and Alolan Golem, but we're now finishing off the regional variants by analysing Dugtrio and Alolan Dugtrio. Oh shit! Wrong thumbnail! Transition! Transition! One sec. Fear not though, I have a lot more Pokemon I want to compare and analyse, so this series is far from over. If you're new here, I've recently expanded the series in which I discuss, compare and analyse Pokemon who are either part of the same evolutionary line or have some sort of close-knit bond. If you wanted to familiarise yourself with the series as a whole, I've placed a link to the entire playlist in the description below. However, it'll also show up on the iCard on the top right hand corner of your screen for your convenience. Enough rambling though, let's get this analysis underway. Let's start with Cantonian Dugtrio. Becky, do your thing.
Dugtrio, extremely powerful. Hey, no, let me do something different for a change. Can't I have a bigger role in these videos? I'm literally reading Pokédex entries and they're so boring to do.
I'm not paying you for a bigger role. Stick to the script.
You're not paying me at all. Fine, I'll stick to the script for now, but I swear on the next video I want to take lead. I want a bigger role.
Alright, we'll talk about it.
That basically means no. Why don't we let the viewers have their say, huh? Do you think I should have a bigger role in these videos? Save me from this boredom.
I guess I'm gonna have to finish off that Dex entry all on my own, aren't I? Besides, I thought you were a robot with no human emotions. How can you possibly be so upset? Dugtrio. Extremely powerful, they can dig through even the hardest ground to a depth of over 60 miles. Dugtrio evolves from Diglett starting at level 26. It is a pure ground type, which means it is weak to water, grass and ice. It takes no effect from electric type attacks, whilst resisting poison and rock. Moving on to its abilities, it has three. One of its primary abilities are Sand Veil, which boosts its evasiveness in a sandstorm. Its secondary ability is Arena Trap, which essentially prevents your opponent from switching out, with the exception of a ghost type Pokemon. Its hidden ability is Sand Force, which boosts the moves of ground, rock and steel type moves in a sandstorm by 30%. Looking at its stats, they're pretty respectable, with it having a base 120 speed stat as well as a physical attack stat of a base 100. The rest of its stats aren't anything to write home about though. Let's migrate to Pokemon Showdown to see how you can use Cantonian Dugtrio in battle. I'd like to think Dugtrio would be a great gimmicky Pokemon in battle. What I was thinking was go 252 HP, 252 speed and 4 EVs in attack with a jolly nature. Opt for the Arena Trap ability so you can Toxic Stall. Due to your very fast speed, go for a quick substitute along with Toxic, as previously mentioned. Earthquake and Stone Edge would be your main stab moves. Though this set is completely shut down by Pokemon like Celesteela and Skarmory, so you could instead go max attack, max speed, 4 EVs in defense, and go for pure offense with Edgequake. Sucker Punch just for extra coverage, and maybe even Hone Claws to help Stone Edge hit even more often. Holding a Life Orb, I'd still go for the jolly nature to ensure you outspeed as much as you can. Let's move on to Alolan Dugtrio. Becky? Alright Becky, if you read the Dex entry I'll give you a more interesting role next time.
Haha, like stealing candy from a baby. Okay Ozzy. Dugtrio, Alola form, the mole Pokemon, a ground and steel type. They are revered in Alola as a reincarnation of a planet guardian and its siblings. Its golden hair provides protection.
It's a ground steel type, which means it is weak to fighting, ground, fire and water. And if you ask me, it's a poor man's Excadrill. It takes no effect from poison or electric type moves, whilst resisting normal, flying, bug, steel, psychic, dragon, fairy, and does have a quarter resistance to rock. It's a pretty interesting type combination because it is paired with one of the most offensive typings in the game, with arguably the most defensive typings of the game, being steel. Looking at its abilities, it has three. It shares one of its primary abilities with its Cantonian counterpart in Sand Veil, which boosts its evasiveness in a sandstorm, whilst its secondary ability, Tangling Hair, lowers your opponent's speed upon contact. It also shares its hidden ability with its Cantonian brethren in Sand Force, which boosts rock, ground and steel type moves in a sandstorm by 30%. Looking at Alolan Dugtrio stats, honestly the distribution isn't too different, but I don't feel it benefits Alolan Dugtrio at all. It loses a bit of speed in exchange for a bit more physical defense. Although it can be argued its Tangling Hair ability remedies this, but in my opinion it's very situational and only affects physical attackers, and even then you're probably going to get O-code by a super effective hit, essentially nullifying that speed drop, unless you're using it from a team supportive stance, and in which case, you got me, that makes total sense. Let's move to Pokemon Showdown and come up with some sets for Alolan Dugtrio. What I was thinking was a standardized set that would work in a sand team, really complementing its ground steel typing so it would make sense to opt for its Sand Force ability, to boost both of its stab moves, have an ally set up the weather like a Sandstream Gigalith for example, run two of the most obvious moves, EQ and Ironhead for stab, though be mindful if Gigalith is your ally to consider using Protect on the turn you use EQ. For another move you could use Rock Slide to again capitalise on your ability for some flinch hacks, as well as being able to hit flying type super effectively. And as a last move slot, Sucker Punch is a good safe option. I'd probably run Life Orb to maximise your damage output. The EV spread I'd go for is 252 attack, 252 speed, 4 EVs in special defense, and opt for the Jolly nature to really make up for that bit of speed loss from its Cantonian counterpart. Reviewing the two from an analytic standpoint, I'm being diplomatic as always, they're both great Pokemon in their own right. In terms of typing, I'd say Alolan Dugtrio wins here. Although it has more weaknesses, I feel this doesn't really matter due to the type of role it'll play on a competitive team, a fast, physically attacking sweeper. Not only this, it does have a lot of resistances to be considered a safe switch in. In terms of abilities, again they're both great, however I'd give the slight edge to Cantonian Dugtrio due to it getting access to both Arena Trap and Sand Force, both of which it can really benefit from. Although Alolan Dugtrio really owns this niche with Sand Force in my opinion, getting access to all Steel, Rock and Ground moves, whilst two of these being boosted by Stab on top of the Sandstorm buffing it, meaning Alolan Dugtrio can really capitalise on this and wreak some havoc. In terms of stats, I must say Cantonian Dugtrio wins here. Honestly, Alolan Dugtrio gaining a bit more physical defense in exchange for its speed is very disappointing. Although Alolan Dugtrio is still really fast, if there was going to be a speed decrease, I'd rather have preferred more attack at least, like Garchomp to Mega Garchomp. But hey, that's just me. In terms of their move pool, they're both very similar, but I'm a sucker for Pokemon who get access to moves that complement either its typing, its role at play on a competitive team, or its ability, and Alolan Dugtrio does that perfectly, with access to Rock, Steel and Ground type moves, boosted by Stab as well as being boosted by a Sandstorm if your ally sets it up. Honestly, the more I talk about it, the more I really want to breed a competitive Diglett to train up and use for myself. Alolan Dugtrio, it's a yes from me.
Ozzy, this is supposed to be a non-biased analysis, and you haven't even asked the viewers who they like better. You suck at this.
Fine! Clearly I prefer Alolan Dugtrio, but what about you guys? Which of the two do you prefer? Cantonian Dugtrio or Alolan Dugtrio? Let me know by leaving a comment down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And on that note, if you enjoyed today's video, please leave it a big thumbs up, as that really does help me out, as well as subscribing to my channel to become an Aussie What Today. And make sure to follow me on Twitter and Twitch for further Pokemon shenanigans. And with all of that being said, I'll see you guys very soon.